Hello! Today we're talking about Jovoy fragrance collection. Really happy to show you this collection today. We're going to go through all the fragrance together. Let's start. Jovoy, what is this? Jovoy in France, what is this and everything. Jovoy is basically fragrance lovers heaven. You want to smell different and see luxurious fragrances, and you know sometimes they have the same price as a designer as well, and it's just incredible. So Jovoy is a retailer. They like hosting many brands in their shop, many fragrance niche brands, and they do their own collections. They've been generous enough to send me a box of all the collections, so you can definitely buy that, and it's the cutest thing ever, guys. You've got all the scent of the collection. You've got little cards with the notes over there, so I'm going to use that for my editing because I'm lazy. To describe the collection really briefly, it's so underrated. Incredible fragrances, rich ingredients, super luxurious, and it's a playground for a perfumer. Like amazing perfumer are creating fragrance for this collection, and you can really see that they are creating something extremely artistic. But again, this is something really unique, so if you're just used to a designer, that might be not for you just yet. You need to experiment, smell and blah blah to really appreciate those, and it's not for everyone as well. Very exclusive, high class. Really enthusiastic about this collection because I'm not scared to tell you that it's absolutely stunning, honestly. Let me introduce you the fragrances now, and at the end I will tell you my top 5. First one is 21st Conduit Street. Jovoy England, the one that is in Mayfair, is actually on that street, 21st Conduit Street. Well, it's called like that, it's kind of emblematic. For me, definitely leans more masculine. Real crush for that because you can really smell an opening in rhubarb, and rhubarb always give like a slightly sugary fruity tone, which is incredible. And what is really nice is it's balanced with this fruitiness with a lot of vetiver earthiness. I can really smell the vetiver. Made me think of my Nuit de Megève from 8 and Bob. If you know this fragrance, I've done a review on it. More sweeter, more richer, classy, elegant. So if you're not too keen of dry vetiver, you might enjoy this type of vetiver, slightly rounder at the end. I think for me, it's modern, it's gentleman, it's really nicely blended with some creativity. Can definitely be worn in something a bit more professional, and I would say day to night really easily. It's overall a very smooth composition. Love this. Next one is Pavillon Rouge. It's an amber woody fragrance, mainly focused on a whiskey note, so it's super boozy to me. The first opening I was like, whoa, okay, there we go. And you've got more tobacco. It's more smoky. It's a more mature composition for more mature audience, but at the same time it still have that cocooning effect, so it's not completely dry. It smells a bit leathery to me at the end, which is not referenced as an ingredient, but I would say all this blend of ingredients make it slightly leathery. It nearly makes me think of a Kilian fragrances because of this boozy accord and richness of the woods. I'm gonna God, what's happening? My first thought was like, oh, this is how should smell Maison Margiela Jazz Club. It's like a whiskey that you can smell maturing in the barrels that gives that woody effects. Is Rouge Assassin. So for me, leans more to the feminine to me. It's super powdery, super rosy. This is the most femme fatale one of the collection. For a woman that, like, you know, got character, charismatic, mysterious, and super sexy. She knows how to play with sensuality and sexuality. It's been created by Amélie Bourgeois, and I want to say that because she created some of my favorite creations, some Alexandre J, especially Magic Stick Jardin, also Rouge Smoking from BDK, and a lot of l'Orchestre Parfum. Of course, I do love what she does. It really made me think of Alexandre J, Majestic Jardin. There's a musky note that gives an extremely dense and powdery sillage. If you don't love that iris note, you're probably gonna like that. Slightly violetty kind of. Quite close to Rouge Assassin with some 10 is Touche Finale. Also very powdery and also very flowery. However, with this one, for me, it's a little bit more vivid, joyful personality. Not to the other one that is slightly more darker to me. This is more romantic, soft and creamier, a true lipstick scent. Some people I've seen are complaining because there's a note, supposedly of mimosa in there. People were expecting more mimosa. Just to let you know, it's not a silent flower, it's a very discreet flower. It gives a powdery accord to a fragrance, and when it's blended with powerful flowers like it is in there, it's usually a bit mute and give more something like more powdery, and it's normal. This one is Les Jeux Sont Faits. Alors les Jeux Sont Faits, my first impression when I smell it was, ooh, this is quite challenging. It's really rich and really concentrated, mainly a woody, very aromatic fragrance. It's been done by Amélie Bourgeois as well, so I was kind of surprised to smell this. I think she had fun creating it. It's a rum tobacco scent, but you can really smell the boozy accord. So much more bigger than in Pavillon Rouge, for example. It's like exploding. What is really surprising is that they blend this with a green note. Oh mon dieu! It's very vintage to me, definitely an old school type of vibe. It's slightly bitter, challenging, and it smells a bit of gin. The more I'm smelling, the more, you know, I'm addicted, but I couldn't wear it possibly because it's not made for me, to be honest. I appreciate the juice. I'm not a gin person. Some bad memory with gin. I've been going a little bit too deep in the gin. So 6 is Private Label. It's from 2011 by Cécile Zarokian. Cécile is one of my favorite perfumers. I was lucky enough to interview her. This fragrances is muchly earthy to me. Very, very earthy. Dry composition with leather. It's a very overall less is more composition. Straightforward scent. Very focused on the green leather. It's got a nice freshness around it, so it's not heavy woods, which is nice. A minty freshness in there, so I don't know how she managed to do something like that, but it's really nice because it's something that smells slightly patchouli like or slightly green woody like, but with a really uplifting tone. It smells like fall. Very mystical, very manly to me. It's super masculine and it gives a bit of an exclusive mature vibe, like super high class. Ambre Premier. Alors, I've got the candle from Ambre Premier, and this is probably one of the best candles I've ever smelled in my life. I've burned it and all my house was filled in like 5 seconds, and it's a really tiny candle. It smelled suddenly like very sensual. Shame I was just with my bunny. Okay. Got a really big crush on ambery fragrance, and this is a very straightforward amber. Some people would say it's got nothing special. To me, it is really special actually. It's not something that is really complex. It's an amber vanilla, slightly rosy with a bit of powdery tone and quite a bit of sweetness. It made me think of a bit of a vibe of Coromandel, but sweeter, a sweeter Coromandel from Chanel. Very, very delicious, slightly soapy at the end. Like there's something quite clean and so sensual. I just want to cuddle this. I love it. I really love that. Number 8 is Psychédélique, an amber patchouli. It smells like a dark chocolate patchouli. Voilà. It nearly have a minty vibe, and when I smelled it, I thought of my after height, I don't know if you call it like that in here, but after height like a chocolate. So very rich, round. You really need to enjoy the patchouli note because it's really, really present, guys. Give me a very 70s vibe. Super, super strong. With Les Jeux Sont Faits, this is probably the 2 ones that I saw that was extremely overpowering, quite milky and lactonic, like a Bailey accord. I don't know if you tasted a Bailey, but I love it after I was gonna say for breakfast. No Bailey for Christmas, Clémence. Christmas! Oh my god! No, for dessert, after the dinner, voilà. I would say don't spray on white clothes, because I think it's gonna be slightly, you know. It gives me a Thierry Mugler vibe, but much more luxurious. Number 9, Gardez-Moi, with in France, Keep Me, which I thought was really nice to call it like that, because for my first impression was that It smells like a slightly wedding vibe. It's pure white. It's a bouquet, ylang ylang, a very yellow solar flower, and ylang ylang is one of the most powerful flowers. It's like projecting a lot, and this is what I have with it. It's a very solar, sunny composition. Smell that the flower are a little bit more fizzier, like exploding. It's made by the aldehydes. This molecule is so uplifting and it has the power to put all the ingredients fizzy and uplifted. A fragrance that is very pretty but quite strong, you know. It's not like this delicate tone. No. Number 10 is L'Arbre de la Connaissance. Simply in there, you need to enjoy green, you need to enjoy fig, and a slightly fruity, juicy tone. The most juicy fig scent I've ever smelled. Okay, personally, I think it's fabulous and it makes me happy every time I smell it. It's a very soothing scent and it's got a very rainy accord. Compared to a Philosophes from Diplomatique, it's much more richer composition, much more fruitier, much more juicier. 11 is La Lithurgie des Heures. So I'm gonna tell you something you're probably gonna laugh about. The most sarcastic of you will be like, she's a crazy. La Liturgie des Heures, if you don't know what it is, it's a prière. Like, it smells extremely churchy. It reminds me so much of my childhood. So the first time I smelled it, I had a little tear in my eyes. And it's true story. It's just because I've been to a high school that was kind of Catholic, so we didn't have to go to the church, but we were encouraged to go to the church. Sometimes to avoid the class, I would go to the church. My grandmother used to sometimes like take me inside of the church, and I used to enjoy it because I love the mystical, the religious tone. I think is really something captivating. But I'm not, you know, very practicant. Like, I'm not, you know, but I do appreciate that. I think it's got something like a full of story behind that is really interesting, and I do love it. So this smell, super balsamic, super, it's focused on the resin. It really smells like the incense you have in the church. So rich, so powerful. If I wear that is like, don't touch me, I'm, you know, forbidden. Paired with some green note undertone. It's an incense that is magical to me. It's divine to me. Number 12, L'Art de la Guerre, the art of the war. So I was expecting something really attacking me. Actually, no. At the start, made me think of Jimmy Choo, but the classic for women. And suddenly, within a few seconds, transform into a quite masculine undertone. It smells like a fougère, but a fougère that is slightly sweet. Most of the fougères, you know, are dominated by lavender and smell ultra barbershop and stuff. This has this quality, but a slightly more sweeter tone, and it's so beautiful. For someone that want a classic gentlemanly scent, but still want to feel a bit of sensuality, oh my god, that's good. It's definitely a 4-season round. It's such an extremely nicely blended fragrance that you're like, what is that? I don't know when to wear that, and I think I want to wear it all the time. A fougère fragrance for the non-fougère lovers. Dans Diplomatique, so definitely one of the fragrances that is part of the powerful ones. It's funny, I'm re-smelling that after a few hours and it makes me think of Oud for Greatness. It smells mainly like a vetiver at the start with some orangey note to give the opening. With some time, it was smelling like a fresh packet of cigarettes. So intoxicating. Got a bit of an old fashion tone as well. Beast mode, definitely. Very sexual note, because at the end it's slightly dirty. When I say dirty, it's not a bad thing. It's for that occasion. Okay. Last one and the best. Yeah. Remember Me by Cécile Zarocan, well, Jovoy collection, but Cécile creating it. This is chai latte, very milky, a tea fragrance note. Yeah, so it smells like chai latte, extremely milky, creamy scent. If you love frangipani flowers, this solar undertone, this rich undertone, you're gonna love this. If you wanna hear more about what was the inspiration and how Cécile created it, I interviewed her and she explained everything about this fragrance, which I'm really happy about, because this is probably the most gourmand latte tea fragrance that I've ever smelled, like British tea should smell. It's funny because like in England, like, you know, you put milk in your tea. Well, we would never do that in France. It's slightly citrusy at the start, it's perfectly balanced. Even if it's very creamy, very gourmand and delicious, you will never be bored of that fragrance. It's incredible. Voila, let's go to my top 5 favorite fragrance now. So if you've been brave enough to stay until the end of the video, well done. Shall we say well done in the comment for everyone that stay onto the top list? I literally enjoyed so much this collection that I can't say that anything is bad, because it's not. Please don't listen to this top list too much, and that's why I wanted to spend time talking about the fragrance, because I feel those fragrances are definitely very extremely subjective, or it does remind you memories and it triggers something inside you because it's so creative. Oh, it's not. I don't feel I've got the right to tell you that this one is best than another, because I don't think it is. This is just my list. Number 5 is Ambre Premier. I love this amber fragrance. I discovered really the smell with the candle. Feeling everywhere inside my room, and I just love this sweetness accord. Number 4 for me is Pavillon Rouge for this whiskey tone, but not overwhelming. It's incredibly nicely balanced, and I think super sexy. I love it. Number 3, Lithurgie des Heures. Okay, this is extremely religious scent, but I fell in love. Number 2, L'Art de la guerre. Oh, little squirrel. Sorry. L'Art de la guerre, because I never smell a fougère with a tightly sweet accord, and I thought the composition was extremely clever, so I love it. And my number 1, and for me, okay, I'm not gonna say something that, don't listen to me, this is my choice. Number 1 for me is Remember Me. This fragrance is everything. I would bath in Remember Me. So cocooning, it's so comforting. This is number 1 on my wish list. I absolutely love it. It's incredible. You need to smell it. Voila. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments which are the favorite of the collection. For me, it was, as you could see with my smile and everything, a real pleasure to talk to you about this collection, because I think, again, this is the most underrated collection I've ever smelled. It's incredible, guys. And if you want to try, you've got this kind of coffret on the website where you have everything to try. Very, very lovely. Oh my god, I just realized I completely forgot to talk about the new Fire at Will. It's the newest one. But I've talked quite a lot already on Fire at Will on my Instagram and my YouTube in French and in English. So I guess, you know, it's okay. But it's definitely on my top list. Definitely, like, it's such a beautiful vanilla scent. And I've got the bottle. I mean... Oh, me catastrophe. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you very soon. Bye now.